Welcome to another episode of the Deep Marketing Podcast, where we help you grow your online presence and get more customers. All right, so today we're going to talk about the last elements of the key elements of story. If you haven't listened to these the earlier episodes, go back and listen to those. This will make a whole lot more sense. So we have talked about how there's a character who has a problem and meets a guide who gives them a plan and calls them to action that leads to, today, success. That leads to a success. And also that helps them avoid failure. Now those are kind of two separate sections, but in reality, they are just two different sides of the same coin, essentially. So I'm going to address them both here in one episode. So the question we want to answer here is, what are the positive results that your customer is going to experience by using your product or service? And what are the negative things that they can avoid by using your product or service as well? Or if they choose not to use your product or service, what are the negative consequences that they're going to experience? Now, we want to be very clear in terms of benefits, right? Like, this is like, what's the results? Let's not just make it vague, like, experience, have a great experience or something. Like, what are the actual concrete benefits? How is their life actually specifically improved using, maybe have 3 or 4 bullets of how your customer's life is actually better because they use your product or service. And conversely, also we want to know what, you need to know what could go wrong. What's the downside if your customer does not use your product or service? And we need to have that in our marketing to some extent. Think of it kind of like salt in a cake, is the way Donald Miller would describe it. It needs to be there. If it's not there, it's lacking. It's noticeably lacking, right? At the same time, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want your brand to be all about negativity. But you do need to warn your customers, hey, these are the stakes. This is what's at stake. If there's nothing at stake in a story, it's a boring story. Nothing can go wrong. If there's no potential for either success or failure, it's just this like mediocre, lukewarm, blah, something or another, that's tremendously boring. And that's not the kind of story your customer is living in either. With your customer being the hero in their own mind, there are stakes involved here. And so whether it's, losing money, gaining money, better lifestyle, worse lifestyle, security, whatever it is, just make sure that you've dialed in and specifically you can point out to your customers what are the things that would improve in their life if they use your product or service, and what are the dangers associated with not using your product or service. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in once again on the Deep Marketing Podcast. If you want to reach out to me, you can find me at storypromarketing.com, and you can schedule a one-on-one appointment with me there if you like, or of course you can also reach me through Facebook as well. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.